Hello, students.
Sir, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello, sir. I'm here.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Somebody's responding. Are you hearing me? Clinton, you hearing me?
Yes, sir, I'm hearing.
Ricardo?
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you loud and clear.
I'm sorry, I'm not. Let me go again. Go again. Somebody speak. I'm not hearing properly.
Yeah, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Yeah, I hear it now. I hear it.
How about this, sir? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay.
I want to apologize to you guys. I couldn't get in. Don't ask me why. Just send me all over the world. Yeah, but I'm here now. Okay, guys. Want to remind you that I have a meeting again tonight at 7 o'clock. Can maybe got about 7:05 or so on, right? And next week will be the last such meeting. After that, we're okay. All right?
Okay, sir.
So I apologize that if anybody wants to meet with me, or if you want us to have a meeting to make up the time at another time, you can tell me. Okay? I don't know what your times are like. Okay? But I want to just make that offer to you that we can move on.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So tonight, we want to look at the question of we want to ask two questions tonight. One, and they surround the value of religion. Both of them will surround the value of religion, right? One of them in terms of why some people are religious. We want to explore it a little bit more. Last week I mentioned it. And we want to explore a little bit of an argument on why on what people think about the value of religion. But I know that somebody should be leading devotions tonight. Who's that? Nobody here?
I know last week was my week, I think.
But did you lead last week?
No, we just started class. You did not.
So you get your last week. Say now get to this week. You don't want to lead it for us now, no? Sorry about that.
Okay, let me
So
grab one.
The person who was done for today will be next week. We'll just shift it up a little bit, all right? Is that fair? Okay, so let's go. You couldn't get up last week.
Did you send a schedule for devotion?
Mr. Hall sent that schedule to you already. I inherited his schedule.
Oh, yes, I actually, okay, yes, you're correct.
Right. But
Okay,
I behave like some labor rights.
God, Jesus.
And the wide and expansive. So you not tell me nothing. Anyway, let's move on. I'm not going to take this serious. I report this. So let me apologize for my political statement.
Right. Well, sir, I want to share with us I'm actually doing Bible studies and focusing on the book of Psalm.
Right.
We are at the last one, Psalm 23, which is a very well-known psalm.
Right.
And well loved that one as well. In fact, it's one that is put to music by so many contemporary worship leaders.
Mm-hmm.
But in this psalm, and I choose to share it as well because earlier today I was reflecting on the verse 2, but I'll read for you a few the verses. It says, "The Lord is," and I'm reading from the New International Version. "The Lord is my shepherd; I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Um, Without any political biases, I was just reflecting on verse 2, Pastor Ricardo, because I went up into the mountains this afternoon and I was by the an area where there was lush, the grass was really nice. And as well, there was still water. And I was like, wow, what a perfect place to have almost any event. But I think about it, he makes me to lie down. He makes me lie down in green pastures. And it is important that as the psalmist says, that how God leads him, because here he was, that persons were depending on him for leadership. But he was now saying that God, the Lord, is his shepherd, and following his direction, he also leads him to places where he can be fed, where he can receive nourishment. And we might interpret that as both physical nourishment or spiritual nourishment. But the good thing is that as long as the Lord is our shepherd, as long as the Lord is leading us, then we are assured that he will bring us to that pathway or bring us into that place or in our lives where we're able to be nourished. And I think for me personally, I have been tremendously blessed having been at JTS now. This is my third year, but I thank God for that leadership. That God, I think every day that God has led me to this institution. When I think I chose, when every time I'm able to interact with persons, I say, I'm grateful that I didn't choose any other institution because of how God has blessed my life and has poured into me, you know. And whatever it is that we might say is our green pasture, for some persons, it's an opportunity to be in another place or a better job or their ministry being expanded, or it is that you're able to understand the word. But thank God that he is always able, as the shepherd, to lead us into that pathway where we can be fed. And that still water, meaning it's not, there's no noise, there's no chaos happening, but there's a place where we can always be refreshed. And we always at all times need to be refreshed. So as we reflect on the psalm, may we continue to ask God to lead us. And may, as he lead us, we be willing to follow. So that as his staff and his rod, they comfort us and give us guidance, that we will be willing to be led by him and follow. Because oftentimes we pray, God lead me. God is leading, but we are not willing to follow. That's the problem. And I'm guilty of that. For years, I've been running away from God's work. But let us pray. Father, we thank you for your words, and we ask that, Lord, you will help us so that as you lead us day by day, we will follow. May we be humble to take counsel from you, and may we know, Lord, that wherever you lead us, it's always in the right direction. You lead us into righteousness because, Lord, your name is right. And Father God, because your name is righteous, you're always going to lead us into the paths of righteousness. Because God, you, oh Lord, will you're God, you are a God that cannot lie. And so we thank you, Father, for your direction. I ask that as we study this evening and as we come together in this class, that the knowledge that we would have gained will help us, will equip us for ministry, and may we be vanguards of the truth. May we stand up like the brave ones with our faces to the foe, and may we keep our eyes on you, but Lord, may we always do that which is righteous. Have your way in this class, and I pray for our lecturer that as he lead out, that God, you will continue to pour into him, that you will continue to lead him as well into green pastures, and may as well, Father, every single day of our lives, we will prosper in all that we do. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much, Clinton. Thank you. There is a young lady who should be joining the class. By the way, whose iPhone? Whose name is iPhone? Oh, Ricardo. Okay, I just remember that you are the thing. Well, we have two more men who should be joining us. Is that so? Yes, and one young lady. So we're waiting to see if that actually happens. All right, for tonight. But let me continue on the lesson part of this class to say that there is a lot of debate today as to why people are religious and of the value of religion. And we want to examine those tonight. But I want us to do a poll first. Okay, from you, just see your thoughts. And I want you to read the poll question very carefully. You can select two answers. And then we are going to watch a video, and a very short video, less than 5 minutes. After after the poll, we have some discussion. Then we'll go for 5 minutes in the poll, less than 5 minutes, and then I'll relaunch the poll, same poll, and have you respond to them again. Respond to the question again, and we have a discussion before we go into a PowerPoint to look on the value of religion, and then we have some discussions. Okay. So let me launch the poll now. Okay. I'm going to give you 1 minute to do the poll. Okay. Poll has been launched. That should be what are the two main reasons, not what is, what are. Six seconds, guys. Vote quick.
Oh, this would be this, no?
Okay. All right. So you have responded. So you have responded. So let me end polling and let us look at the results. I'm going to share the results with you. All right. Are you seeing the results?
Sorry for a short while, but yeah.
Okay.
It was up, but you put it down.
No, these are people that you know. I'm not asking you to think what you think it is. I hope you answer for people that you know. All right. And what you say, people are religious because of family tradition.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true, sir.
All right.
Generally.
Forced adherence. You know, people are forced to be religious.
That's right.
Well, I don't know about that. Well, for
It's
not
true,
in
man.
Jamaica.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. People that you know.
You tell the boy him have to go church.
Okay.
Mm.
Fright.
Okay.
And not only that, but you go to school and them you get beaten if you don't go devotion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Yeah,
What about
choice.
fright?
That's
I
another
think that comes from family tradition, you know, because as Queen was saying, you don't go to church, you're in line with discipline.
Yeah, go hell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody chose faith. Perhaps you don't understand that one. And free choice is 25%. Wow.
Free choice for me was an interesting one because I do believe that even after you get past the adolescent stage when you can make decisions for yourself, you remain to stay in religion or you opt out. I think at that stage of your maturity you make decisions consciously to remain, and that's where I put free choice.
Okay. You'll be surprised though. I have a friend who claims to be an atheist, and he goes to church. still. And I think he does it out of family reasons. Maybe it's right, maybe for them, wife very involved in church. I don't know. I need to ask him. Yes.
Can someone send the link to Damian Thomas?
But doesn't he receive it in his email?
He said that he don't see it, so I'm asking if someone can send it to him.
But I sent it to the whole class.
I'm going to tell him.
I'm sending it again just in case.
But Damon is on the email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One, two,
I just told him that it was sent.
Yeah.
You need to check the email.
Okay, so let me just delay the discussion a little bit until he comes in, all right? Let me just continue the discussion a little bit until he comes in. It's just very interesting, you know. I don't know if, I think we might have thought about a question like this before, okay? But I think today it is a question that is becoming more popular because of changes in our world. And it's one that we have to properly consider. All right? He isn't coming yet.
No, I just responded to him.
Yeah.
So he's going to check it.
Yeah. So I'm going to close off the poll now. But don't you guys saw the results, right?
For a short while.
I don't know what's happening. Okay, I'll share it again.
Okay.
You see it, all right?
All right.
Yes.
Everybody said family tradition. All right? That's a big, important part. 50% says forced adherence. Wow. And 25% each for fright and free choice. Okay. Wow. And we claim to be a society of religious freedom.
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing? Why is that?
Because we are forced to accept it.
Yeah.
No one choose it. Just there's no free choice.
There's none.
None.
Sir.
You grow up as an Adventist.
Yeah.
You grow up as an Adventist. You must go to Adventist church. And if you don't go to Adventist, I'm just giving an example. If you don't go to Adventist church, you are put out of the family.
But even after you turn adult?
The same thing.
I think after adult, you can make a decision. Well, not a majority, but you find a few deviate from the child.
It's a hard decision, hard thing to leave what you grew up in.
Well, sir.
Yes.
For me, I mean, I grew up Church of God, and when I became after leaving high school, my aunt who I grew up with, she left me, went to the US, and I visited the Adventist church 1 week. They invited me back the next week, invited me to a crusade. I was impressed with the way the guy, his presentation of the scriptures. To the point I'm still going there after 20 years.
Yeah.
And my aunt to this date, she has not forgiven me.
Okay. But you have used your choice freely.
Yes. So, but had it been for her alone, I would not be allowed to. If she had her way, I would not be allowed to do that. I mean, our relationship has never been the same since then.
The question is, though, are you free to leave the Adventist church if you want to leave?
Well, yes, I am.
Okay. All right, guys.
But I'm just thinking about Christianity as a religion you asked about, not denomination, but religion. I don't think in Jamaica we were free. I mean, if I decide to become a Rasta now or a Muslim, my family would probably disown me.
All right, guys. I'm going to share a video with you, see? And it's very short. So I'm going to share it and then we come back. After we have looked at it, all right, we'll come back and talk a little bit about it. All right? You're at least one of the options will be explained a bit more to you. All right? So are you seeing it?
All right. Now.
Yes, sir.
Guys, are you seeing it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, here goes. 4 minutes and 6 seconds. Let's go. Hi guys, this is your lecturer, David Pearson, talking to you today about the question
Not sharing
why
anything.
are people religious? I know about 5 reasons that are usually given. Okay, you're not hearing this, right?
No,
Well, I
not
was
sharing
hearing.
anything.
I was hearing it.
Okay.
Okay, let me start it over. Go back and start sharing again because somebody said they weren't hearing it. All right? So let me go back and share again. You're seeing it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me if you're hearing it too. Here goes. Hi guys, this is your lecturer, David
Yes.
Pearson, talking to you today about the question as to why are people religious? I know about 5 reasons that are usually given, and perhaps the most basic one is that the family connection. People are born into a religion. We hear this all the time from those who critique religion to say that religions cannot be true because the chances are that if you are born in a particular region of the world, your family would be of that religion which you will choose and you will defend. Another reason they give is that religion is oftentimes forced on people. So you have some countries, for instance, where it is illegal for you to be anything but an adherent to that religion. So you'll find in those countries, apart from the family dynamics, the fact is that people are forced into such religions. A third reason, oftentimes given, is that people are frightened into following a particular religion. Now, this might sound like the same, similar to the forced idea, but in this idea that people are frightened into religion, what we are talking about here is this idea that some persons are caught up in wars or they are caught up in a takeover from a nation. Like, for instance, in the Crusades in the Middle Ages, where, first of all, Muslim nations conquered others and they forced people to convert to their religion. And then Christianity did return the favor, and in the Crusades they went and they conquered these nations, and people are forced or they feel frightened that they have to associate with a particular religion. This theory suggests that these people are not true adherents, and they're oftentimes closeted observers of other religions, but openly they speak about their faith because they're frightened to do otherwise. In recent times, a fourth position has become prominent, and that is religion. The religion that somebody chooses, or if they choose religious at all, is because of fate, F-A-T-E. And what this says is that religiosity is biological. It is hardwired into the DNA of certain persons, and you can't help yourself but be religious. So, for instance, there's a whole new field of study that is talking about the fact that some people have this gene or this disposition built into them, and they will become your witches or your charlatans. They will become your religious leaders. It's just because that's how they are. The question is, if this is true, why then criticize a person for what they can't control? But let's talk about the final reason. The final reason is that there are many people who are religious out of free choice. We see this happening in many countries where people are forced into one religion, but they choose to connect with another religion. It's what we perhaps are most afraid with in our region, where people tend to have these religious freedoms, and we choose a religion or we choose not to be religious. Okay? None of these theories are mutually exclusive. The fact is that they could all work together at the same time. But I think what I am most comfortable with, and what I think most persons are comfortable with, is the fact that people can choose to be religious. Thanks again for watching. We are going to be looking at another question in another video soon. Peace. Okay, guys.
Sir.
Yes.
Damien said that it is asking him for a password. He's been asked for a password.
Copy the link and paste it in a ring central.
Yeah.
I don't normally do it. I just click on the same link and it just bring me right to the class.
I don't know. The password. Look at the end of the ring central number for me. Well, I'm trying to get back into it now to see if I can find it. But I don't know what is happening. Okay, let's look and see what is happening here. If I can find it. This thing's taking a long time to come. When it comes up, I will look again. All right?
Okay.
Okay, so you saw the video. Did you understand the thing about, well, let me ask you, what is there anything you heard and disagreed with, or anything you want to add something to?
No, sir.
You sure? Okay. I thought about it. Yes? No.
I'm just saying I agree with you.
I thought about it after I finished the video today and I uploaded it to YouTube, and I thought that the frightened aspect needed to be explained a little bit more clearly. And I think you guys did a better job at explaining it to me. Okay, because what I had in mind at first, when we say somebody's frightened into a religion, as an example, is somebody afraid of going to hell, okay, or they are afraid of whatever. There's some religious reason that that makes them afraid, and so they jump into a religion. What I said wasn't necessarily wrong, because very often it comes enforced, but it doesn't have to. My wife and I were talking about it. Somebody can be forced, but they are not frightened. Okay, they do it. They are forced to do it, and they do it very calculatingly. They are not frightened at all. They calculatingly do it. They observe, go along the way, and move on. I saw a film. No, I can't remember it. No. Somebody's mic is transmitting your wife and child. Yeah. So I watched this film. When I find the name of it, I'll let you watch it. Okay, I'll tell you. You can watch it at your own time. It's about a Roman Catholic priest, or a group of Roman Catholic priests who go to China for religious reasons back in the day, and they are told to renounce their religion or they are killed. And there is this famous priest who went and nobody heard of again. They don't know what's happening to him. Okay. And these young missionaries, they go to China and they go through the same torture, and most of them are killed, and one of them isn't killed because he renounces. Okay. They take him to a place where he is told to renounce or he'll die. And when he looks up, he sees the priest that they haven't seen for many years. He's there. He has taken on the whole attitude of the Chinese communists. Okay? And the guy he thinks he loses his faith. And he cries and he renounces his faith to save his skin. He's not as strong as the others, he thinks. And one day, while he's talking to the priest, and everybody is looking, because there's this, you have to go many years to prove that you are genuine. One day, when he is beside the priest and they're talking about some mundane Chinese thing and people are looking at them, the priest opens his hand very quickly and shows him a cross and then closes it back. Okay? And I think what the writer of the film was saying to us is that you can maintain your faith in a world that's against you, because faith is a personal matter. Okay, you don't have to renounce anything as long as you keep it to yourself, kind of thing like that. But the point is that many persons are frightened into religion. Okay, the one that I found, I've been finding.
Is that a bad thing?
I don't know. We can discuss that.
Okay.
Is your faith, your religious faith, supposed to be a private thing that you don't share with anybody else?
No, not that. You said some persons are frightened into religion, and I'm saying if that's a bad thing.
You tell me, is it a bad thing?
I don't think it is.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it is.
And what others of you think?
Well, apart of the video that is going to
Go again, say it again.
Apart of your video that is helping me to answer this question, it said that persons can have a combination of
Yeah, they're not necessarily mutually exclusive, I said, right?
Right. So with that said, I believe that, you know, every Christian could probably say, even if revelation of God is what brought them to God, the fact of hell being a real thing and them trying to avoid that is probably what maintained their position in the religion. So I believe that it cannot all be bad, you know, for being forced into a religion.
Okay. That sounds like the music lessons that some people resist when they are young. And one day later on in life, they become brilliant musicians and they love it. So frightened at first, forced maybe, okay, and you turn out to be very appreciative of what somebody has done for you. Yeah, okay. So we are saying that they're not necessarily mutually exclusive. You can see them working in tandem, right? Sometimes. Except that in my mind, it makes no sense for me to deliberately force anybody to accept my faith. Mm-hmm. Okay.
But sir, I know for you know, Christianity, we probably bordering down Christianity because of that. You know, we're associated with Christianity more than any other religion. So I find that even in Christianity or pastors, even in a crusade setting, tend to apply this fear factor to is it to encourage or influence persons to at the time, you know, make a decision to accept Christ.
Yeah. There's a question that some people ask: is the practice of Christianity consistent with the example of Christ? Did Christ ever force anybody to follow him? You know, anyway, those are issues that can be discussed ad nauseum. We can mention it over and over again, and that's something what we end up with. Okay, Damien. Hi, Jessica. Welcome.
Hi, sir. Hi, sir.
Hi, Jessica. Meet the rest of the class. Do you know them?
No, sir. I don't know them.
So, guys, could you introduce yourself to the lady? They're saying that they have to see you first before they can introduce themselves.
I'm just set. Okay, sir. Understood.
You understood, right?
Okay. Let's see here.
Okay. So that's Jessica, all right? So,
okay.
Guys, please introduce yourselves to Jessica.
Good evening, Jessica. I am Jerome Hobbs. I'm a third year student at JTS.
Jerome, finally get on.
Yeah.
Damien.
Sorry, Damien. Sorry,
Hi, Damien. Welcome, Damien. Yes.
Oh, hi, Jessica. I'm Clinton Hall. I'm a final year theology major.
Right.
He's the son. He's the son of Barry Hall. No, that's. I am Ricardo Taylor, final year student at JTS.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I was saying that That if that is, if you, I said, wow, I wasn't looking Clinton so ugly, but now it explains it. Damian, we're asking you to open your camera that Jessica can see and introduce herself.
Sir, I didn't know you were a troublemaker, you know. All this time I had you as a good person.
I'm a good person, man. I'm a saint. I've never sinned.
Did not know you were a troublemaker, sir.
Yes. But introduce yourself to the lady.
Evening, Jessica. I'm Damian Thomas, and doing Bachelor's Art in Theology, minor in Leadership and Ministry. And I'm from the best parish in Jamaica.
Here we go now.
Yeah.
That's Kingston.
Didn't catch you. You're going to say.
St. Mary.
Portland.
All right.
Okay.
So Jessica, tell us two things about yourself now.
Wow, okay. I'm a traditional online student,
Right.
and I am majoring in theology, minoring in guidance and counseling.
Okay. And what parish are you from?
St. Anne.
Garden Parish of St. Anne. Okay.
Yes.
And what church are you?
Moving Church of God.
The Moving Church of
In
God.
Runaway Bay.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I know your church.
Awesome.
Okay. Where are you moving to?
But we get that question a lot.
You get that question a lot. I've
Yes.
seen that church for so many years, and every time I pass it, I laugh and say, "Where are they moving to? All the moving, them can't move yet."
Yeah, I think we've outmoved ourselves.
Yeah, it's the Pentecostal church.
Yes, it is, sir.
Okay. What is it, Trinitarian or oneness?
Trinitarian.
Okay. All right. Welcome, though. Welcome. So
Thank
you
you, sir.
probably missed a video, Jessica.
Everyone else. I watched the last, I think it's last week's class.
Yeah, but I'm talking about in class today. You probably missed a video, but I'm going to upload the video.
Okay.
I'm going to try. Last week I lost a video. I don't know how it lost. That's the last class I taught. I don't know. It was saved to the clouds and I can't download it. So I'm saving this one hopefully to my laptop. Okay. And then I'll upload it to YouTube and it will be there, right? So
All right.
hopefully you can see it. So I showed a video just a while ago as to why people are religious. It's really a discussion on why people are religious, or our discussion starter. I mentioned 5 reasons. 5 reasons, not necessarily mutually exclusive. You know, the people are family traditions, people are forced, people are frightened into religion. A new idea is fate, F-A-T-E. People are hardwired by biology to be religious. Some people and some people are not. Okay. And the last one, people are religious because of free choice. So 5 F's we looked at. They're very short video, 4 minutes and 6 seconds. All right. So that will be up. And I did a poll before. Okay. Asking the students what they thought in people that they knew. Okay, what they thought were the reasons, the main reasons why people were religious. And I found the findings before the video to be very surprising. I'm going to relaunch the poll now, relaunch it. Some of you and Damian missed the video, so you're not going to get the benefit of the video to doing the poll now, but I'm relaunching the poll to see if people have any other ideas. Okay? If they change their mind. So I'm relaunching the poll. Okay. So it's coming up shortly.
Okay, I see it, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you guys to take next 1 minute and do this. And that should be what are the 2 main reasons, not what is. That's bad grammar.
All right.
Please choose 2 and not 3. Some people chose 3 the last time.
All right.
I thought.
All right. Okay, great.
Two people still haven't submitted yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or it's one person. Who it is?
Yeah, 5. Everybody should.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4.
We should
So
have
it's
5.
of us.
Our next
Right.
person needs to submit. Please submit your poll that I can close off, please.
Oh, so it is 5 of us.
Yeah, but there's only 4.
Okay. I'm not sure if Ricardo is by his station.
I should do that. Is it the same poll or is it a different poll?
Yes,
Same
do
poll.
it again.
You
Do it
submitted
Oh, you
again.
want it? Oh, I submitted, but I didn't do anything.
Why?
Because we did it before, so I didn't know I should do it again.
Yeah, man, want to say again. If your mind's
Okay.
changed.
No.
All right,
Not at
okay.
all.
So let's end polling. End polling. I'm going to share the results to see what's happening here now. You see it?
Yes, sir.
100% family tradition.
Family traditions, 100%. Wow. Forced adherence, 25. Fright, 25. Free choice, 50. Free choice has gone up this time from 25 to 50. But family tradition, 100%. Wow. Everybody knows people who are being forced into religion. And we had discussion of that before as to whether this is a good or a bad thing. You know, family traditions, people just follow along with their family traditions. All right. So let's stop the share a little bit. Now, one of the reasons why, I have shared this because I want you to get into the habit of when you're speaking to religious people that you just don't make assumptions about them. Okay, that's why one of the papers I've given you requires of you to talk to an adherent of another religion and find out why the person is religious and not just make assumptions on your part. Okay, if it is that you think it is your responsibility to speak with a person about the correct choice of a religion, then it behoves you and me, it is our responsibility to know why they're doing what they're doing. Okay? If it's a doctrinal matter, then we can talk to them about doctrine. If it's a family matter, we can talk about, what, you know what I mean? It all depends on why they are doing it. Now, if you believe that the person is biologically wired to be religious, I don't know how you're going to address that one. And I've had discussions with some people who believe that. And I said, why are you then telling me that I must not be a Christian? You have said I'm biologically wired to be religious and to be a Christian, and you are not. So why are you telling me that I must stop? It doesn't make any sense in my mind. That ends all discussions and debates. What is an important consideration, I believe, that when you talk to a Jehovah's Witness or a Mormon or a Rastafarian or a Hindu or a Muslim, you should not make assumptions as to why people are religious. Okay? You should understand people more for what they are doing and why they are doing it and not just paint them with a broad brush. Okay? You might be surprised that some people from our own faith, Christians, they don't even believe in Christian doctrine. So when you bring doctrine to them can easily say yes. I'll give you an example. Some years ago at JTS, we were hiring a lady to teach a class. And JTS was a statement of faith that lecturers at one time had to sign. Okay? And this lady was in agreement with the 12 articles of the statement of faith. 12 articles. She just ticked them off and signed it. Okay? And the then dean, okay, then dean, in a discussion with her, because she get the job, you know, in a discussion with her, found out that she went to a Science of the Mind church that believes none of those things. So the dean asked her about that. And she couldn't give a response. And the dean withdrew the job offer. That in itself led to a huge backlash. Okay? Because how can you fire a person for belief or lack of belief or a different belief? And the fact is that you have gotten to the stage where the contract was all but signed, and then you change your mind. But the point is that she think that she believed them, but in actuality, the publisher doesn't even understand them. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. We need to know who people are and so on. Okay? I wonder how many of you thought that Clinton grew up in a Seventh-day Adventist church. Most Seventh-day Adventists I know grew up in a church. But he didn't. Okay?
Sir, Clinton
Yes.
is not a devout Seventh-day Adventist.
You mean pork?
Yes.
No, I'm not. I'm not eating no pork.
Clinton eat pork. The madam say eat pork and lobster and all them something there.
No. In fact, I've never tried.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have had pork a few times. I was in Germany for some time. They cook pork in almost everything.
And nice, not true.
I'm sure. I hear rice and peas taste better when there's a piece of pigtail in it.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yeah, but the reason I say it, sir, is because, normally Seventh-day Adventists would go to the school in Mandeville. What's the name of the school?
Yes.
NCU.
And they'll go to their seminary. And here Clinton is at JTS. So, he's probably having a change of heart.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, let's move on. I wanted us to look at a PowerPoint. Jessica and Damian have explained to the class before that I had a challenge which will happen next week also, that I need to have another meeting at 7 o'clock. All right? So we're going to go up until 7. And if anybody wants to speak with me at another time, you can contact me, or if you want us to continue the class at a mutually convenient time, that will be fine on my part. All right? So let's share and go to a PowerPoint. Oh, this is it. Okay. Move slow. You're seeing it, right? So what we're talking about here is that we're debating the value of religion. I don't know why I put a question mark. It really should be a question mark. We're debating. Let me just change that right now, because there should be no question mark there. If it will allow me to change it. Why is everything? Okay. You see it still, right? Are you seeing it?
Yes, sir.
All right. So here goes. The truth is that we live in a religious world. Okay? This is the world religion's location map. If you see, look at the bottom and you see that what do you call this again? Hyperlink. This hyperlink address, if we were to click on it, it will go to an interactive map of the world. Let me see if that happens if I click on it. What happens? Nothing happens here because I'm, well, maybe doing it. So let's see. It goes to an interactive map of the world. All right? So that's what it's doing now. You're seeing it, right?
In the PowerPoint.
See the map.
It's still, okay, it's not going. Let me just stop this because it's, don't know what is happening here. Let me just stop this one. Come on. You still seeing the PowerPoint? I am not seeing the PowerPoint, no. Okay, I'm seeing it now. Most of the world is religious, but is that a good or a bad thing? Okay, you're seeing that PowerPoint with the question,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Is it a good or a bad thing that most of the world is religious? I want to suggest to you that up to maybe 30 years ago, most people in the world, most would say it is a good thing. And maybe most will still say it because so much of the world is religious. Okay? You will find that many more are saying otherwise. So are you seeing my cursor?
Yes, sir.
My pointer. You see this?
Yes,
It's a
I'm seeing it.
non-religious country. What country is this?
That looks like China or India.
China. China.
China. China.
China is non-religious. And there are a few other countries that are non-religious. This there and that there. Okay? Non-religious states. Right? This is of Russia. Parts of Russia, of what we know as Russia. Right? Outside of those, we have very few, if any, non-religious countries in the world. Non-religious mean the vast majority being have no religion. These countries here also. All right? The rest of the world is religious. What question people are asking is whether or not this is good or bad. Now, the question then is how valuable is religion in reality? And we are going to see that this is a question of much discussion and heated debates. It's not just that people talk about it. People almost fight about it. If you were to hear a debate between adherents of religion and those who are not committed to religion, sometimes you wonder what's happening here, right? But the responses generally fall into two camps: those who are for religion and those who are against religion. You might find some with some points of view that you don't know where exactly to fit them. But let's look at these. First of all, there is the view of those who believe that religion is essential. And what do they mean by this? One, they say religion helps us to understand our cultures. Okay? Because there is a prevailing view that 99% of the cultures of the world are centered on some religious understanding. If you fail to understand religion, you're not going to understand those cultures. Okay? I think that's a view that many of us can see and perhaps understand, even if we don't fully agree with it. But it is true, I think, that there are many cultures in the world that we will not understand until we understand their religion. If that is so, then it explains people's attitudes and behavior. One of the things in recent years, when the advent of Islamic suicide bombers, is why would they do that? And there's usually a religious explanation behind it. Okay? But why does Clinton not eat pork or shellfish? You know? Why does such and such a person think that sex outside of marriage is wrong? It's very often, most often, it's a religion that explains that person's behavior. The third is religion is central to morality. And this has been a prevailing view for many times, many years, that morality actually comes from religion in our world. And the fear is that if you rid the world of religion, you'll also rid it of morality. There's a fierce debate now where many atheists are saying that it is presumptuous to think, for Christians, for instance, to think that they atheists cannot be moral because they're atheists. But I think there is a slight misunderstanding of the point by both Christians and non-Christians when they say that there is no morality outside of religion. Okay, we are not saying that. Those of us who mention this point, and I mention this point a lot, we are not saying that non-religious people can't be moral, but we are saying that the ground of their morality came from religion. That is still being debated, by the way. I'm going to admit and say it's being debated. And fourthly, religion answers man's most important questions. Okay? Questions of illness and death or purpose in life. You know, questions about the way how we should act under certain circumstances, which are very important to us, and so on. We find that it is religion that most often provides answers to these questions. All right? And so, though those who believe that religion is important will point to things like these to say that we should not try to get rid of religion. I know that Seventh-day Adventists are very strong on views like these, and that's why in Jamaica, more than anybody else, the Seventh-day Adventist Church talks about religious freedom. Okay?
There's a department in the church.
They talk about religious freedom. That's not to say that they believe that all religions are equal, you know, but they are saying that man and woman, men and women, boys and girls should be free to change their religion. Okay? Or not to have a religion if they so please. It's a question between of them and God, which I agree with the Adventists about that. Now, on the other hand, we have people who are saying that religion is detrimental to the world. One, they say it's the source of most wars and conflicts in the history of the world. Okay? And they point to the Crusades is one favorite point in time that they love to talk about, how Christianity killed off Muslims. You know, you force them to convert at the point of the sword. And I would say to them, whether or not I agree with what the Christians did is one story. But secondly, I want to suggest to you that the Christians were responding to Muslims who did that in the first place to them. And secondly, they were Christians in name only. Because that's not the practice of Christianity as a faith that Jesus taught. But it certainly was a practice of those who call themselves Christians. But they say that religion is the source of most wars and conflicts in the world. And some people say it is the source of every war and conflict in the world. When you tackle them about it, to show that atheism has killed more persons in the 20th century than in the whole history of the world combined, some of them respond to say, yeah, but that wasn't atheism that was a problem. That was atheism that was treated like religion. So it's religion again. So them heads them bet on both bets on both sides. They can't with the discussion. So. Secondly, they say religion's morality is outdated and irrelevant. Stone Age morality, desert morality from 5,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago. They continue to say that, man, we are people who should make our own morality as we move ahead. Thirdly, it's STEM scientific. STEM is the word I want. I want to say stops. It stops, or maybe the same thing, scientific progress. If you continue to believe religion, they claim that science has no place. And the point is that many Christian scientists who are Christians, disagree. They say, but we are scientists, we are committed to science, but we don't see the necessary opposite to religion. We see them as being complementary, many people say. But there's a prevailing view today that if you're religious, you can't be properly scientific. Okay? If you're properly scientific, they're saying you must rid yourself of religion. And fourthly, there's no way to prove religion's claims. Religion is irrational. So what they talk about is falsifiable claims. For a claim to be worth keeping, you must be able to show that it's false. You cannot show that religion is true or false, they say. And so it is irrational. And we, as rational beings, we should not be having anything to do with religion. Any comments or questions on those before we move on to the next slide?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's move to the next slide. The question is, how do we tell which is right or wrong? And I don't know if I can give you an answer or a good answer. What I can tell you is what people do to say that they're telling what is right or wrong. Some people argue from faith to prove their religion. You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think many of us hear people like that, know people like that. You know, their faith proves their religion. In teaching apologetics at JTS, I used to say to people, to some of my students, I said, if you ever came to me to share your faith with me, I can easily trip you up. And they say, why? Oh, I said, share your faith with me. And they start to share. The Bible says, I said, but I don't believe the Bible. And they stop. And they say, but Jesus said it. I said, where you get that Jesus said that? They said, from the Bible. I said, I just told you they don't believe the Bible. But the Bible is true. I said, how do you know that? Because the Bible says that, but I don't believe the Bible. Okay? I have to remind them that I'm playing devil's advocate, or in this case, Jesus' advocate, to show them that you just can't appeal to faith as many people do in the way that they do. Right? Secondly, many justify their religious leanings by their experiences. You know, they say things like, it worked for me, so it must be right. And somebody say, but it never worked for me, so it must be wrong. All right? So we have to be careful about that too. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's the point I just made. Many use experience to disqualify religion. It didn't work for me. Didn't work for me, and so I'm not going to be religious anymore. Others argue from science to disprove religion, as we see many people doing today. Still others use science to corroborate their religious leanings. And I heard Christopher Hitchens, one of the most famous atheists in the world. He died 8 years ago. I heard him talking and speaking about the most fantastic human being he knows is a scientist who's a Christian. And he said, I'm dying from cancer and I may not live to see it, but my hope is that this man will break the DNA of cancer, that people won't die from cancer like how I am going to die. And he said, this man has devoted his life to defeating cancer, and he is religious. Okay? People like that, scientists will say that their science only corroborates their religious leanings. Usually they say what they have discovered from science is so magnificent that it gives them greater reason for faith. And a growing number is using science to explain religion without necessarily accepting it as true. And I think I hinted at it before by saying that some people are saying that religion is hardwired by biology, by our biology. So they're not necessarily saying it is true, but they are using science to explain the importance or the reality of religion in our world. Now, Here is the most important question I can ask you today. What say you? In the comments, how can you tell? Is religion really valuable? Nobody talking to me. Nobody speaking to me. Why is religion important to you or valuable to you?
So for me, for me, religion it provides meaning to my life. It also allows me to be able to provide answers for some of the questions that I would not be able to answer using any other field of study or anything else in society. So that is what. And it also gives me hope. In dealing with all the challenges that life has placed on me, religion is that place where I find hope and comfort. And even like, for example, when faced with the problem of evil, when I stand at the graveside of a loved one or even somebody I don't know, religion is it's that source that provides me with comfort and tells me that there is an afterlife. I mean, there's nothing else outside of religion that gives me that hope or comfort. So that's why religion for me is important, because life without religion, I would be hopeless.
Okay. Thanks, Clinton. Anybody else?
Religion answers man's most important question. And I remember I did a paper in Newton Dixon's class. Which class is that again, Clinton?
Apologetics.
Apologetics, thanks. Regarding the problem of evil. Why is it that bad things happen to good people? And religion really, and Clinton said it just now, I don't even have to say anything, but religion helps you to understand why these things happen. When you have a family member who has passed, religion gives you comfort to know that yes, they have passed, but we will have a great reunion. So it gives you comfort and it helps you. And finally, it is central, for me, it is central to morality. There's no other source, in my opinion. And you said it earlier, sir, that religion is the basis from which morality comes from. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal.
That's how we argue. And I can tell you that I've heard people say that the only reason why that is so is because the world has always been religious. If there was no religion, a man would have to come up with a morality to make the species survive.
I don't agree with that. I think that's nonsense.
Okay.
But I think it's absolute nonsense, though.
Right.
It's like you're saying to a fish. It's like you're saying to a fish, if there wasn't any water, you'd learn to survive out of water, even though fish was designed and created to live in the water. For me, it makes no sense.
Hold on, that religion is the foundation of morality?
No, religion isn't the foundation of morality.
Okay.
Jessica, what are your thoughts on this? Jess.
I don't think you can hear me when I do that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I was wondering if you had moved with your church, but anyway, continue.
Okay. No, I'm still here, sir. I'm still here.
You should say, I'm still here like my church. Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
I'm thinking on the question. It's for me, it's a little bit tricky to answer because I think most of the, like if you look at the major world religions, Judaism, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Sikhism, they all, you have, each of them have a branch of like extremism where
Mm-hmm.
people will do things that are not necessarily the middle ground, but
Right.
most of them are based in like morality, like everyone else is saying. So there seems to be this need for people to lean towards living a good and moral life. But then if you look like in even the Bible itself, when the Israelites, they were going into Canaan and, sorry, I'm a little bit, my throat's a little bit scratchy. And,
COVID.
yeah, no, sir, no,
We
sir.
hope not. We hope not.
The Lord was telling them, listen, like, when you guys get over there, eliminate the
Wipe out.
Canaanites. Don't follow their practices. Yeah, like don't follow their practices. Don't intermarry. The Canaanite, the reason he was doing that is because they had their religious practices that weren't necessarily good. So if you're looking at it that way, we're saying where you want to say like most religions are founded in some morality, then I think that it's kind of tricky because I mean they did child sacrifice, and that's not something that God wanted the Israelites to do. So it's kind of it's hard to answer and give a definitive answer because there are good and bad to a lot of religious practices.
Yeah, and Jessica and others. 1 second, guys. I know who's called. 1 second. I have to take this call. Jermaine, I haven't forgotten you guys. Yeah, I'm going to in a meeting and coming to you. All right. We have a PowerPoint. So give me about 5 past 7. Cool. Yes. I'm sorry about that. I expected that call because the person hasn't heard from me, and they're wondering if I'm coming to the meeting, and I have to go to the meeting because I'm the one presenting. Okay. Yeah, I was saying, Jessica, that one of the reasons why people don't want to consider this question is that there are some very tough questions, extremely tough questions that we find ourselves very uncomfortable to answer. Because you just mentioned it, if religion is valuable, if all religions are valuable, how do we make sense between religious moralities that clash? And the truth is that we will say, if we think about it carefully, very often it is the dominant group whose view goes forward. Okay? Does that mean it is right? Does that mean it is actually right? Oh. Okay? So it leads to a lot of uncomfortable questions. That's one of the reasons why people don't like studying these things. But whether we study them or not, it's there. People are asking the questions. And we have to find ways around it. Okay? Well, I didn't explore that question here, but maybe one day we'll explore the question, how do we deal with those difficulties we face? Multiple faiths having a few common ideas, a multiplicity of differences. How do we overcome those differences? And there are different approaches that people will take to them. I have my particular approach that I take to them, that I find that most Christians are uncomfortable with. Okay? But for instance, I'll just share it very quickly, and then very, very quickly, I think God calls people from all religions. Does that mean that a Hindu is going to go to heaven? I say, yes, when you go to heaven, you will see a Hindu in heaven, you will see a Muslim in heaven, you'll find some Christians in heaven. But they didn't get there through their religion. They got there through Christ. Okay? Religion is man's yearning for God.
Mm-hmm.
And so from my faith standpoint, my understanding of the scriptures and so on, is that God presents himself to anybody who seeks him genuinely. And so a man who lives in Myanmar, is a Buddhist or whatever it is, you know, who is genuinely seeking out for God, and God reveals himself to him and he accepts the revelation of Jesus, that however God gives it to him. He has never met a Christian in his life, and he dies. Will he be in heaven? And my answer is yes. Wherever heaven is, will he be accepted by God? My answer is yes. So I can critique deficiencies in a man's religion, in my mind, while still understanding that this is the man reaching out to God. Could I say the same thing about Christians? There are many of us Christians who are genuinely searching for God, and we buck up on ideas in our churches that we find difficult. It's not those ideas that disqualify us, okay? It's not the ideas that bring us to God either. It's our faith in Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right.
It's our faith in Jesus Christ that brings us to God. But
Mm-hmm.
it's an idea that is very uncomfortable to many Christians, perhaps because the churches that we have gone to have told us that we have the true church. I went to a church like that. Okay? They would never tell you that we are the true church. They never said those words. They would never say those 5 words together. But what they would say is that we are the most faithful church in the scriptures. There's no other church as faithful to the scriptures as we are. That's what they would say. And I would say, really? If I ever tell you stories about what I know about people in my church, when I was a young Christian, I thought that everybody in my church was a Christian. Until one day I realized that there are some Christians at my church. The big difference. Big difference, because many people have come to church, have come to their religious practice for various reasons. And many of you here have said it already. Some of them only came with a family tradition. Some of them came because they were forced. Some were frightened. Many of them, I can't say most, I can't make a judgment and say most, but I know many of them had no faith in Jesus. I've come to realize that. Any questions or comments on your part? Me like calling you so silent, you know.
No, sir, nothing from me.
Me like talk so much. I'm not hearing nothing from one. Want to make me have to break out my worst patois. I talk to you.
You're moving, sir?
So, what I want you guys to do for me, right? As time comes to an end for me tonight, coming up shortly, I want you to start doing your papers from now. Your religious adherence paper. Do you know who you're going to talk to yet?
Oh. No. Sir,
Yeah.
I'm unable to access the course outline.
Ask one of your friends to say it to you.
Oh, I could speak to one of my I have a few friends who are Islamic.
Right. If you have a few, you alone can do Islam. If you choose Islam, you alone can do it. Others can't do it. All right. And you all know any Rasta you can talk to?
Yeah, but we can find a few.
Any Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yeah.
Mormons? Christian Science? Hindus? Buddhists? Anybody at all? I can put you onto a Buddhist. Those of you who want a Buddhist to interview. If you're interested, just
I know somebody that goes to, there's this church in New Kingston, sir. It's called Temple of Light.
Yeah, that's a Christian Science church.
Oh, it is?
It's more like a Christian Science church.
You know, I mean, I've always wanted to know exactly what they believe.
Well,
maybe I should talk to somebody there.
Right. But the point is, with these discussions that we were having last week and this week fresh in the mind, it would be a good time for you to start talking to people. Formulate your questions that we ask them and so on, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a little bit more that needs to be done. We're moving on to looking at how the religions came to us before we go into their belief systems. Okay? Anybody have any questions about the paper? 7 o'clock. Anybody have any questions? Going
The
forward.
first one is
Go ahead, Clinton.
when is the first one due again?
I don't have the thing on me. Don't have
Okay.
the paper on me. I can look and see.
All right. Just want to make sure I'm on point.
All right, friends. I have to
Blessing.
leave you for tonight. If you have any questions or comments, please send them to me by email, or you can give me a WhatsApp call. All right, or call me on my phone, same number, and we'll talk. All right.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Okay.
sir.
Next week again, same. We're going to use the same link for next week.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Peace
Okay.
and love.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Great.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Good night.
Blessing.